and our scorekeepers and announcers, gatekeepers, and concessions crew. Special thanks to Spanish Sport Recreation Director Dale Robinson for hosting the tournament, and ground supervisor Taylor Banks and his crew for the incredible job they do in preparing the fields for today. Success takes teamwork, and these teams appreciate the support they have received from their parents, family, administration, student bodies, spectators, and fans. Throughout today's championship game, please be an example of good sportsmanship, demonstrating respect for the players, coaches, and officials. By so doing, you will show your positive support for the mission of education-based athletics in Utah. At this time, let's welcome onto the field the two teams that will be competing in today's 2A state championship game. First, the visiting team, the South Summit Wildcats. Starting players today, pitching for South Summit, number 10, Hannah Peterson. Catcher, number 14, Tyler James. Number 16, Desmond Wolstenhume on first. Second base, number 12, Taylor Reedhead. Number 2, third baseman, McKay Wolstenhume. Then shortstop, number 9, Natalie Nichols. Left field, number 3, Rachel Rideoff. Center field, number 8, Sydney Badreen. Right field, number 17, Jade Snyder. And designated player, number 18, Elise Bush. And now for the home team, the Broncos of San Juan. Number 20, pitcher Tatiana Suisui. Number 14, Mary Royer. And first base, number 21, Leilani Begay. Second base, number 3, Jessica Swenson. And third base, number 45, Lori Begay. And shortstop, number 15, Jade Palmer. Left field, number 52, Mizoni Begay. Center field, number 42, Charlotte Yanito. And number 18, playing right field, Kainani Finale. Let's give these two teams a round of applause for their great success. The Utah High School Activities Association would like to recognize the seniors on both teams by having them take a step forward. Join us in congratulating these seniors with a round of applause. We pause to honor America and those valiant men and women who fight to protect our freedoms as we enjoy this game today with the playing of our national anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your hats. umpires for this.
made a mistake. We are tossing for home and visitor. She's going to
The
announce
umpires
it.
for
We are
this
tossing.
championship
Okay,
game
that's
are
we
Blair
caught that.
Jordan,
Thank you.
Rick Whalen, and Doyle Sprague. We will now be flipping a coin to see who is home team and visiting team.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who are joining us online, to the start of Championship Day of the 2A Softball Championships. We have the Broncos from San Juan playing the Wildcats from South Summit. Two great softball teams have worked very hard their whole season, for a couple years actually, to get to this point. San Juan right now is 1 game up on South Summit. If San Juan wins this next game, it is over. They are the 2A state champions. But if the Wildcats have anything to say about that, they need to win 2 games in a row for them to become the state champions. Right now, they're doing the official coin toss to see who is going to be the home team. Advantage always goes to the home team. They know what they got to do in the last half of the last inning. Anyway, I'm here joined by Hayden Peterson. We're representing Wildcat TV, South Summit Community, being as neutral as we can announcing this game. I have a TV crew limited of 2 people, Jex Rummel and on the camera Tyrell Horrocks. During the last presentation, our equipment got a little wet and it's kind of been glitching out a little bit. We're going to do the best we can. Sorry if it's not a clear picture. This is all the equipment we got. We're just going to keep trying our best. So, Hayden, what have you seen from both these teams to get to this point?
A lot of offense and a lot of defense in San Juan's case. The Wildcats have been averaging right around 14 runs per game, and San Juan has been holding most of their teams below 5, as they did the Wildcats the other day in the semifinal game, reaching the state tournament the easy way, as most would say, going through the winner's bracket without a loss. They held the Wildcats to 3 runs as Sui Sui pitched herself out of another wonderful game that she's been doing all tournament long. You can't say enough about the pitching for San Juan, as she's been doing this for about 2 years now, actually. A lot of hopes and a lot of teammates riding on the arm of Sui Sui there as she takes a circle every day. And for the Wildcats, the offense has really been the story. They give up a few runs, but they're not too worried about it, as their offense has been putting, like I said, about 14 runs per game on the board. They do have a solid defense behind Natalie and Hannah when the ball is hit, but occasionally a few errors have come to haunt them and given up a few more runs than they'd like. Coach Bowen and I believe Coach Swenson both have their teams most likely ready for the state championship game, as it probably doesn't take much to excite a few girls about a state championship game.
Oh, I'm sure they are all very excited as we look out in the field here on this beautiful day down in Spanish Fork, Utah. It's about 63 degrees. It's supposed to get a little warmer as the day goes on. Sunny as can be compared to what we've had so far. Those girls are very excited to be here. You know, speaking of Tatiana Sui Sui, when I watched her pitch and holding the Wildcat offense to 3 runs, she's a tremendous athlete. Not only did she do very well pitching, she also hit 2 solo home runs, which was the difference of the game in the first game that these two teams met during this championship.
Absolutely. She has a lot of power when she gets in that box. Any pitch really that's in the strike zone, she has the ability to hit it out. The only way to pitch around her really is to basically put her on in 4 straight pitches to avoid letting her swing that bat.
We'll see what the Wildcat coaching staff has in store for her today. You also alluded on the Wildcat high-powered offense. I think I counted on my fingers about a dozen home runs from the Wildcats, ranging from the 2-hitter all the way up to the 8-hitter, I believe, during this tournament. Now that's a pretty solid collective team right there to have over a dozen home runs in just a few days.
Yeah, they've been hitting the ball really well. Kind of shocking to pretty much everybody as they've been seeing this many balls go over. They've probably hit more this week than they did in the first half and second half of the seasons combined. So the Wildcat offense waking up right when it needs to. The coin has been flipped. It appears to me that San Juan has won the toss.
And they will be the home team. Fittingly so, as they have already beat South Summit and are undefeated in this tournament. Anyway, we're going to be back in a moment. This first TV timeout will be brought to you by Sam Applenop of Discovery Properties. Make sure you see him for all your real estate needs in Summit County. We'll be back in a moment with the start of this wonderful game. This timeout is brought to you by Sam Applenop of Discovery Properties. Sam is your local real estate expert. Let him help you buy or sell property. Call or text him at 435-901-0720 for all your real estate needs.
Sure you got armbands on.
Welcome back, everyone. The Broncos have just taken the field. On the mound for the Broncos, number 20, Tatiana Suisui. Behind the plate, catching, number 14, Mary Royer. I think Mary hit a 3-run shot in the first game against South Summit. Playing first base for the Broncos, the 21, Leilani Begay. On second, number 3, Jessica Swenson. At third base, number 45, Lori Begay. And up the middle of the field there, shortstop, number 15, Jade Palmer. To complete the outfield, it looks like we have Najoni Begay in left field, Charla Yanito in center, and in right field, Kenani Benali. So that'll round up the Broncos defense as Suisui takes her warm-up pitches, and Royer throws it down to second. Who's stepping up first for the Wildcats, Hayden?
That'll be number 9, Natalie Nichols. Been leading off for the Wildcats all year long, and nothing has changed. We are about 30 seconds from the first pitch of this state championship game. Like Jeremy said, if San Juan wins, they are the outright champions. If the Wildcats win, they will push the if game and have to win twice in a row to become champions. All the anticipation of all season builds down to this first pitch. Here we are. Welcome to the game. Ball one high to Natalie Nichols.
Suisui shakes her arm a little bit, puts the ball on her hip, delivers the pitch, and Nichols lays down a hard ground ball to the shortstop who bobbles it, and that will give South Summit their first base runner of the day with their first at bat and first swing. Good sign for the Wildcats, bringing up Hannah Jo Peterson batting second for the Wildcats. Natalie Nichols standing on first.
Wildcats probably looking to strike early here as they'll probably show a bunt to see if they can get the infield to move around and see if Natalie can move her way to second.
Nichols steals second base, no problem, as Royer doesn't even attempt to throw it down. San Juan very aware of the speed that Natalie Nichols owns on the bases, probably the fastest player I've seen out here in 2A softball. That's probably number 27 out of 27 bases for her on the year. Stealing percentage of 100%. Here comes the pitch. Swung on, ground ball up the middle. That's going to score a run for the Wildcats as Nichols rounds third. Peterson at first base, and the Wildcats, 2 batters up, 1 run in, are now on top 1-0 very early in the top of the first inning.
2 pitches thrown from Suisui to the outside corner of those left-hand batters, and both of them take it right where it's pitched. Hit it in between Suisui and the shortstop, who are both in that little shift due to the left-handed abilities of slapping and bunting the ball down by Hannah and Natalie, as the Wildcats jump on the board early, 1-0.
Peterson goes to steal the base. She easily slides in there as the ball rolls to the shortstop. Palmer's glove throws it back to Suisui. Wildcats with another runner in scoring position, with McKay Wolstenhume, who has 3 home runs so far in this tournament, stepping up into the box with ball 1.
I thought he called a strike, but I wasn't aware.
We'll find out soon enough. Here comes the pitch. Inside, There's a ball.
We've either got a 1-1 count or 2-0, but I'm pretty sure it's 1-1. Because I thought I heard him call strike because I was looking up to see the runner take off towards second. We'll see when he gives us a sign to let you know where we're at. McKay swung on, hit down the middle, it's through the gap, at the center. Hannah Peterson rolling, she's going to try to score. The throw to home, cut off by Sui. And McKay Wilstonhume with the single and the RBI as Hannah Peterson scoots all the way in from second to score the second run of the day for the Lady Cats.
The high-powered offense for South Summit starting off just where they want to be with 2 runs and their first 3 batters on board. McKay Wilsonhume standing on first base with no outs, bringing the ever-dangerous hot bat of Elise Bush, who's just a sophomore, as the designated hitter for South Summit.
The second baseman for San Juan made an excellent attempt there. Jessica Swenson trying to make the diving grab just outside of her mitt and through the gap. First pitch from Sui to Elise Bush is a strike called. Swung on. Strike 1.
So Bush and Peterson, the 2 sophomores in this starting lineup, awaits the pitch. That's up high, pass ball. That's going to put Wilstonhume easily on second base as the count evens up to 1-1 with no outs. Runner in scoring position for the Cats as they continue to be on the prowl here on the top of the first inning.
Coach Bowen barking the orders over there to McKay, letting her know no outs, don't run into an easy out. Got a 1-1 count to Elise Bush now.
Called for a strike, another pass ball. The catcher Royer just tips off her mitt. She should have caught that one as it was called for a strike. Bush now behind in the count, 1 ball, 2 strikes, but the runner does advance. Standing on third base is Wilsonhume, waiting to find a way to get home to push the Wildcat lead up. Another run. Sui looks her over, gets set, gets the pitch, in the middle of the circle, delivers. And Bush swings, and it's a foul ball over the right side dugout, first base dugout. Staying alive is Bush. As you can hear, we have our on-the-field microphone going. You can hear all the sounds of the game. Hopefully we're not glitching out too much, and it's pretty smooth, and you can enjoy it. Once again, if we are, I apologize. Here's the pitch from Tatiana, outside for ball 2. Sui's got to have a lot of thoughts going through her head right now. She's already allowed 2 runs and a runner on third. Don't you think, Hayden?
I can't even begin to imagine what she's thinking, as she's probably seen so many different people and runners scoring positions, runs on her all through the season. Stay calm. I imagine she'll just work her way right out of this as she has so often this year.
As she did right there, as she gets Elise Bush for the first out of the inning, going down swinging, strike 3, bringing up Taylor Reedhead, the second baseman for the Wildcats. That ball's going to be a pass ball. McKay Wilsonhume's going home, and she walks in there as Reedhead gets an RBI the easy way. Standing there collecting a ball that Tatiana Sui just lost out of her hand, bounced inside the circle, and rolled all the way back to the backstop. Wildcats now up 3-0. Reedhead now looking to be a leadoff batter with 1 out. Timeout called as the Broncos want to talk this over. We'll be back in a moment. This timeout's brought to you by Gateway Dentistry, Dr. Ammon Pitts in Summit County. We'll be back in a moment.
This timeout is brought to you by Dr. Ammon Pitt at Gateway Dentistry in Camas, Utah. Dr. Pitt has a very simple business philosophy. Be honest, inform each patient so they know their options, keep each patient as comfortable as possible, and provide high quality work. I've heard nothing but good things about Dr. Pitt. Make sure you come see him for your dentistry needs.
Welcome back. Sui getting ready to deliver her pitch. Outside for a ball. So 2 balls, no strikes, 1 out. No runners on. Wildcats on top, 3-0. First 3 batters scoring. 1 strikeout for Sui on the pinch hitter Bush. Here's the pitch to Reedhead. Swung on and missed. Strike 1. Just what Sui needed. Full confidence, nice pitch right down the middle. Reedhead swinging a little late on that one. She delivers, swung on and missed, strike 2. That ball had some zip on it as Reedhead swings at that while it's already in Royer's glove. Little late, Taylor. She's going to have to get a little faster there. Choked up, 2-strike swing. Here comes the pitch. And that one is a little high for a ball.
Tries to paint the outside corner, just misses a little high. I'm guessing looked pretty good on the plate. Just a little high for the shorter batter. We got a 2-2 count. Or full count. Pardon me? Full count?
Full count. Payoff pitch. Ready to come. 1 out. Middle of the circle. Delivers. Called. Strike 3. That's the second strikeout for Suey as he strikes out the 4 and 5 batter for the Wildcats, bringing up the left fielder, Rachel Rydalch. Rachel calls time in the box, gets herself set. Suey gets her sign. Called, strike 1. So after allowing 3 runs, Suey kind of settling into her own here. She only allowed 3 runs to the entire game against the Wildcats last time. Here comes the pitch to Rydalch. Swung on, ground ball in foul territory, strike 2. As the third baseman, Lori Begay, picks it up and throws it back to her pitcher, Tatiana Suey.
The 0-2 count here to Rachel. Suey has quite a repertoire of pitches. Never sure what you're going to see in this count. Probably just going to go to her favorite pitch. And probably right where she wants it. Swung on, it's an up towards third. Third barehands it, throws over, not in time. Rachel beats it out safe at first. An excellent barehanded play by the third baseman there as the throw was just barely not in time. That'll bring up Tyler James in the Wildcat lineup as Rachel gets an infield single.
As Hayden alluded to, excellent play by Lori Begay, the third baseman, as that ball had some backspin on it. There was no way it was coming hard enough to her to pretty much get anybody out in that situation. Plus, Rydalch has a little bit of speed, able to beat out the throw. Wolstenhume, 2 home runs in the tournament so far. Very good bat. Awaits the pitch. Here it comes. The runner goes. That ball's a fly ball. Right field, 2 outs. Runner continues to go. Third out of the inning as the right fielder, Kanani Benali, settles right underneath that ball for the third out of the inning. But not before the damage is done as the Wildcats jump on top 3-0. This time out will be brought to you by Fish Heads Fly Shop in Heber City, Utah. Make sure you see them for all your fly fishing needs. We'll be back in a moment.
This time out is brought to you by Fish Heads Fly Shop in Heber City, Utah. A great little fly shop with a great staff. They make you feel like royalty every time you come in. They have all the gear you need and some of the best flies in Utah. They offer top-notch guide trips on the Green River in Wyoming, Strawberry River in the Uintas, as well as my favorite fishery, the Provo River. Provo is one of the best trout rivers in the Rocky Mountains. Make sure you come by and see Fish Heads to get all your gear.
Well, here we are getting ready to start the bottom of the first inning. Wildcat defense is Hannah Peterson on the mound. Behind the plate, Tyler James. At first base, Desmond Wolstenhume. Second base, Taylor Reedhead. Shortstop, Natalie Nichols. Third base, we have McKay Wolstenhume. Over in left is Rachel Rydalch. Center is Sydney Vidrine, that is. And in right field, is it Jade Snyder?
Yes, it is.
Jade Snyder. Well, Hayden, it's got to be exciting for you to sit here and watch your younger sisters take the middle of the circle in such an important game.
I think I'm probably more nervous than she is.
Yeah. Neither one of you are more nervous than your father, as I see him pacing out there, putting a hole in the concrete.
Yeah, I guarantee he won't sit still much this game.
Well, up first for the Broncos is Charla Yanito, the center fielder. Number 42 steps into the box, awaits the pitch from Peterson, spins it on her hip and delivers, and that's called strike one inside corner. One of Hannah's favorite pitches has got to be that inside corner.
Absolutely, and if she can get it called, she's going to throw there all day long. As the second one's in there as well, fouled off the left side, just foul. McKay gives chase, lets it go foul, and leaves it be for the left fielder to bring in. 0-2 count now. Hannah Peterson working ahead of the leadoff batter for San Juan, Charla Yanito. The stands look to be just about as full as they were the other day before we got rained out. Strike three, thrown there by Hannah Peterson. 3 quick pitches for 1 out as the Wildcats get their first out of the inning on a strikeout. But as I was saying, it looks like a few of the fans have actually traveled a long way back for San Juan, and about the hour and 10-minute drive for the Wildcats fans to fill these bleachers up and give all their girls support on both sides evenly. Ball 1 to Jade Palmer, up and away. 1 out and 1 ball.
Here's the pitch from Peterson, down low for ball 2 to the shortstop for the Broncos. Steps out of the box, takes a little practice swing, cleans her bat, back in, ready to face Peterson, who's already struck out 1 for the first out of the inning. Here's the pitch. That's called inside corner, strike 1. 2 balls, 1 strike, 1 out, 3-0 ball game. Wildcats on top, only in the bottom of the first inning, championship day.
A little bit too far inside on that one as we got a 3-1 count now to Jade Palmer.
Do you call it dead?
It sounded like it. I imagine she'll come right back up. It hit her in the box. It should be a foul ball. Full count now. Payoff pitch from Hannah coming into Jade Palmer as Tyler picks up a sign from her coach. Goes down to give it to Hannah. And here comes the pitch. Too high. Ball 4. Take your base. And San Juan has a runner on first with Sui Sui coming up to the plate.
The Wildcats talking this one over. I'm sure they already have their instructions of how they want to pitch Sui Sui. With a runner on first base, I don't know if you want to give her a chance to cut this lead into 2/3, I guess, because the 2 hits she has 2 home runs. I think she also hit a double or a single off the Wildcats. Anyway, there's a long fly ball. Center field, Vidri tracing over the fence, lands on her face, just as I was saying. Sui Sui with another home run. All the effort given by the center fielder, trying to rob her of that, unable to do so. Now a 3-2 ball game. San Juan puts 2 on the board just as quickly as South Summit does. You've got to wonder what the call was from Coach Bowen. Does he want to continue to pitch to this amazing offensive player of Tatiana Sui Sui?
Sidney Vidrine tries to figure out where her head and where her feet are after going right on her face on that over that fence. She looks to be all right. As like you were saying, I don't know what you do to Sui Sui. Even with people on base, you almost just have to walk her, give up that single, and work somewhere else.
I agree. Ball 1.
Let the rest of the offense see if they can beat you.
Number 4 hitter for the Broncos, stepping to the plate, Jessica Swanson, the second baseman, takes ball 2. Hannah struck out the first batter, walked the second, allowed a home run to the third. Now is behind in the count, 2-0. To the number 4 hitter, who hits a kind of blooper over Natalie Nichols' head, who runs back, makes the catch for the second out of the inning. Good defensive play there by Nichols to crack on the bat and move back.
A great play. She wasn't sure whether she should be going back to the left, back to the right. She continued to backpedal and get there just in time to make a one-handed snag there.
That'll bring up 21, Leilani Begay, the first baseman for the Broncos, takes ball 1, up high. So Peterson struggled a little bit from the mound during the couple games of the tournament where she allowed a lot of walks. She's already allowed 1, which has cost her for a run. Let's see if she can get this back under control as she throws ball 2. little instruction coming from the fans, probably the parents of Leilani, who swings, foul ball, strike one. 2 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs. The winner of this championship is going to help decide the 2A softball player of the year, as both, I'm sure, Hannah Peterson and Tatiana Suisui are both in the running for that. Peterson throws inside, strike 2.
Both having tremendous years. Suisui, as we said, an offensive threat anytime she steps into the plate, but the way she's pitching the ball as well, it'd be hard not to give it to her if they win. And same thing for the Wildcats pitcher, Hannah Peterson. That one's high up in the air. Sydney Vadrine recovers, gets way in there to make the play. That's 3 down as the Wildcats give up 2 in the bottom half of the first inning to San Juan. And they take the lead into the second inning, 3-2 here. Wildcats over the San Juan Broncos. There we go.
This TV timeout will be brought to you by Wasatch Golf Course in Midway, Utah, one of the most beautiful public courses I've ever seen. We'll be back in a moment.
This timeout is brought to you by the well-known mountain and lake courses at Wasatch Mountain State Park. They are consistently ranked among the most popular, affordable, and scenic in Utah. Nationally, Golf Digest rated Wasatch Mountain as one of Utah's best places to play, giving the facility 4.5 out of 5 stars. At an elevation of 6,000 feet tucked away in Midway, Utah, golfers enjoy cooler temperatures during summer months. The fall colors in late September to early October are truly a sight to behold. Book your next round of golf at one of Wasatch's iconic courses.
And we're back. Top half of the second inning. Tyler James will be your batter as the last out last inning was actually called on the runner for leading early. So you will see Tyler James again. The pop out she hit did not count as they called the runner out on the leaving early first base there. So we have Tyler James now stepping in to face Suisui.
That's called in there for strike 1. So James, a great defensive player, catcher for the Wildcats, also hit a grand slam in the last game to get their team there. Hits a ground ball to the third base line, bobbles a little bit, fires over, and nails her out at first base as the third baseman, Lori Begay, throws over to the first baseman, Leilani Begay. I can only assume the 2 of them are sisters.
It's probably a safe assumption. Sisters or maybe cousins at the least.
Either way, they're on the same page, aren't they?
Yes,
Good play there by the Broncos defense. Suisui seems to be falling into her own here. Here comes the pitch to Wolstenhume, who hits a sharp ground ball for a base hit right through the glove of the shortstop, it's Jade Palmer. And Wolstenhume continues her hot bat as she has a single now, bringing up the center fielder, Sydney Vadrine, who landed over the fence. Pretty much it looked like she hit right on her face. All the effort she could make to try and rob Suisui of the home run. Let's see what Vadrine has in the tank. Wolstenhume on first. Squares to bunt. Hits a foul ball, strike 1.
As Desmond got her first chance this weekend to hit in the second game the Wildcats played on Friday, and she has not been taken out of the lineup since. It'd be hard to do so as she's been on with a batting average of, I'm guessing, right around 750, honestly. And she has been on base nearly 3/4 of the time for the Wildcats in the last 3 games.
First baseman has been on fire, you are right. Swing and a miss, strike 2. Tough to sit there and pull back a bunt with the speed of Suisui and get set to take a full swing at that ball.
Yeah, that's a tough call as a batter to try to realize you're going to have to show bunt, get the defense to move, pull back, and try to hit one through the gap. Because Suisui is throwing right around 60 miles an hour.
At least that. Especially for your number 9 hitter. Well, waiting on the on-deck circle is the number 1 hitter, Natalie Nichols, number 9, who reached with an infield single before. Wolstenhume standing on first base with 1 out, 2 strikes, no balls to Vadrine. Here comes the pitch, up high for a ball. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Suisui way ahead in the count here. Probably going to try to get Vadrine to chase something as she did there. Wouldn't be surprised to see her go up and away one more time. See if she can get that pitch at the eye level on the batter of Sydney Vadrine to be something appealing to her and get her to swing through on. It's fouled off. It was a little bit higher on the outside corner, and Sydney Vidrine battles it off and stays alive here as she steps back in with the count 1-2, still in the favor of Suey Suey. We have one out, and that runner on first base is Desmond Wilson-Hume for the Lady Cats.
3-2 ball game, championship day.
Pitch up and inside. That's a 2-2 count now to Sydney Vidrine.
Here's the pitch. Swung on, check swing. That might drop in there. The right fielder comes crashing in. Foul ball. Wow, that right fielder and second baseman gave all the effort they could. The second baseman, let's see, Jessica Swenson dove in the dirt, laid her body out 90 degrees trying to make that play, as the right fielder, Kanani Benali, also came crashing in as well. Here comes the pitch, 2-2. Swung on, it's going to be a base hit up the middle, right to the center fielder, and that'll put two runners aboard for the Wildcats with one out, moving themselves back to the top of the lineup. Wilson-Hume standing on second, Sydney Vidrine standing on first, Natalie Nichols in the box with Hannah Jo Peterson waiting on deck.
With runners in this position, I'm not sure what the San Juan shift will do here, which base they're going to try to cover on Natalie as she tries to lay one down most likely. Outside corner called for a strike on Natalie. 0-1 the count.
You see the movement on that pitch? I started over the middle and ended up outside the corner. Wow.
I'm glad I'm up here and not having to call those strikes with all those fans behind me who are obviously experts at calling strikes and balls, as they are in every ballpark.
Called strike 2.
Natalie doesn't like that call either as she looks back at the ump in awe. But that was about the exact same spot. Like Jeremy said, that pitch is just tailing off right the last 4 feet and catching that corner. 0-2 to Natalie, as she probably won't be trying to lay down a bunt, because if it goes foul, she will be out. That one's a little bit farther outside. Natalie thought about it and held back just in time. Runner is still on first and second. One down, and a 1-2 count coming here to Natalie.
Battle of two tremendous athletes right here. Suey Suey versus Nichols. They faced each other in other sports before. Here's the pitch. It's going to be a foul ball off the fence. Natalie staying alive. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out, 2 runners aboard, 3-2 ball game. Top of the second inning.
Natalie wisely deciding she can't do anything with that pitch. Fouls it off as she was already halfway through her swing, not being able to pull it back in time. Puts it into the fence and gives herself a new life.
Suey Suey gets the sign. Nichols going to hit a line drive right to the left fielder who was crashing in. Great play there by the left fielder, Najoni Begay, as she comes running in, totally standing in the right spot to face that batter of Natalie Nichols. Runners not able to advance. That'll bring up Hannah Jo Peterson with 2 runners aboard, 2 outs, in a 3-2 ball game in the top of the second inning. Peterson, I believe, has 2 home runs in the tournaments.
That is correct.
Here's the pitch. Called strike 1. That outside corner is working well for Suey Suey. She keeps putting that ball in the same spot. It looks 3 feet outside for me, but I know it going over that plate. That's a strike. Here's the pitch. A little outside for a ball. Catcher bobbles it, picks it back up. Royer doing a good job keeping it in front of her. Must be tough to catch a pitcher who has so much movement with her pitches.
Spend a lot of time with them, you'd think. Be tough to have to replace a catcher like this and come at her with the same. Hannah Peterson puts a swing on one. It's over left fielder's head. It's going. It's off the chain link. They're going to try to score something. She rounds. The throw to third. The throw is cut off, and Hannah Peterson there with the 2 RBI double. As she hits one right off the yellow tape, just keeps it inside the fence. It's not really chain link, but I called it anyways. That's what it looks like on a normal field. That's a double, and those 2 runs for the Wildcats come across as they get back what they gave up in the bottom half of the first inning.
Great piece of hitting there by Hannah Peterson, taking that outside pitch, opposite field, just like she's supposed to. Like Hayden said, right off the yellow tape. 2 RBI double for Peterson. That'll bring up Taylor Reedhead. Sorry, Elise Bush. Oh,
no,
sorry.
It should be McKay Wilson-Hume.
Thank you. I'm jumping ahead here. That pink ribbon I saw in their other hair, and I guess they're all wearing that pink ribbon, huh? What's the story of the pink for the Wildcats, Hayden?
The Lady Cats are wearing that in honor of Coach Bowen's wife, Melanie, who is battling with cancer at the moment and has been all season. And the Wildcats doing that because of the way Bowen treats them and the way Melanie comes and supports them so frequently. They thought they'd give back to Mr. Bowen and his family in this moment. That's why they've also got the pink jerseys on today. Hopefully they took them home and washed them. They did wear them last week as well. But I'm sure most of the parents said, let's go ahead and wash that thing. And it got taken care of, and that's why they're out here wearing pink today in honor of Melanie Bowen. The Wildcats, thank you for all you do for them, the fans and the families and the players.
Well, Peterson standing on second base in scoring position. Exciting, she got back the 2 runs that she allowed in the first inning with the home run to Sui Sui. A little payback as the pitchers or athletes are going back and forth on each other. Here comes the pitch to Wolstenhume. Swung on, foul ball, strike 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs.
McKay, who has also had a very hot bat this tournament, battling in here, probably one of the batters you want for the Wildcats if you're in this position, as she is usually a solid ball hitter, hits it hard, makes the defense make a play, and with the wheels of Hannah Peterson, anything that touches the grass is probably going to be scoring her.
Here's the pitch. Right behind Wolstenhume as she jumps up in front of it towards the plate to not get hit. I'd say take one for the team, but if she took that for the team, she might be out for the next week. That ball coming at least 65 miles per hour. Wow.
Coming right in there at your knee. Not the spot you want to take one. If it's near the thigh, maybe midsection, take it. Not off the knee as the starting third baseman for the Wildcats. We're going to need her to be in the game. Swung on, fouled, just to the right side of Hannah Peterson as she dodges it to stay alive. 2-2 McKay. Wolstenhume batting now with the 5-2 lead for the Lady Cats.
These 1-2-3 batters for the Wildcats are tremendous contact hitters. You hardly see them going down on strikes. They usually always put the ball in play, especially this number 3 batter, McKay Wolstenhume, seems to have a very quick and accurate bat. Here's the pitch. And just as I said that, she hits another line drive, just foul. Good change up there by Sui Sui to be throwing those fast pitches and then bring one a lot slower. McKay trying to wait on it, unable to do so as she rips it foul.
Hannah probably thinking she wished she would have stayed at second, so she has to dodge all these by McKay. She stands in there and gets another lead. Outside pitch. Full count now to McKay Wolstenhume with Elise Bush, the ever so dangerous cleanup hitter. You never know what you're going to get out of her, standing on the circle, waiting to come in.
She looks like she's smart. She's back by the fence, making sure she doesn't get hit by one of Wolstenhume's sharp foul balls.
I can't blame her. I'd almost be halfway in the dugout, I think.
That's inside. The ball 4. Wildcats. Runners on the corners. 2 outs. Still threatening to score. Elise Bush, 3 home runs in the tournament. A whole bunch of singles and a double. Let's see what she has in store here. She struck out the first time swinging. She's had some struggles against this amazing pitcher of Tatiana Sui Sui, as Sui Sui is a senior, Bush just a sophomore, still trying to get used to the wonderful pitching and movement of the Broncos pitcher.
The catcher gives her infield the signals for the throw. If the runner does go, she has a plan. First pitch on its way. It's hit right to the first baseman, line drive, and she is out. 3 down. The Broncos get out after two runs cross on the base hit by Hannah Peterson. The Wildcats are now 5, San Juan 2.
This next timeout's brought to you by Cafe Galleria in Midway, Utah. Some of the best bagels and pizza you'll find. We'll be back in a moment.
This next timeout is brought to you by Cafe Galleria, located in Midway, Utah, on Main Street. Cafe Galleria is a great little restaurant. It has outdoor seating with beautiful surroundings. Nice little quiet town in Midway. The food is amazing. They have some of the best bagels I've ever had since I left New York City. That's saying a lot. They have a wood-burning oven. They cook their pizzas and bagels in fresh every day. Make sure you check it out. Cafe Galleria in Midway.
Welcome back here as we start the bottom of the second inning in the 2A Softball Championship in Spanish Fork, Utah. South Summit Wildcats on top of the San Juan Broncos, 5 runs to 2. Difference of the game, there is just the offensive power so far, I think, of the Wildcats, just pouring on the hits, but it still is only the bottom of the second as the Broncos get a chance to continue their offense of their 2 runs scored from Tatiana Suisui's 2-run home run with a runner aboard, Hannah Peterson's only walk of the game.
Mary Royer now stepping in. The last time she faced the Wildcats, she hit a 3-run shot. And she takes ball 1 up in the air.
Peterson looking to get back to that inside corner. Here's the pitch. Up high, ball 2. Outside, ball 3. We're just talking up here between the innings of the importance of not letting that leadoff runner get aboard. Hannah quickly behind in the count, 3 balls, no strikes. She needs to get something over the middle and let her defense do the work. Here's the pitch. And that's called in there for a strike. Great frame job there by James, the catcher. Helped her pitcher out a little bit. The importance of catching is overlooked sometimes. Here comes the pitch from Peterson. Swung on, foul ball, straight up towards us.
We got some fans stand under it, and they do just that, stand under it.
And watch it go by.
Wisely get out of the way, as we've seen a little bit of the athleticism in some of those. Not quite the athleticism their daughters have out here on the field as they let that ball get out of the way wisely. Not going to take that one. And Hannah battles back to a full count with the payoff pitch on its way. As we said earlier, we do not want to walk any leadoff batters from either side, as we were speaking with the people up here in the booth. Swung on, hit right back here again.
Out of play. Good battle up there by Royer as she takes her 6th pitch.
3 strikes and 3 balls. She fouls off 2 of the last strikes she's seen.
Here's the payoff. Swung on, ground ball right to Nichols. Charges, fields it cleanly, fires over to first base. To Woolston-Hugh, makes the catch, and the first out of the inning recorded for the Wildcats. As stepping up to the plate will be Laura Begay, the 3rd baseman.
A great job there for the Wildcats pitcher Hannah Peterson to battle back from a 3-0 count and get the runner to hit, or get the batter to hit into a 6-3 put away.
They always tell me that softball pitchers' arms are very resilient and they don't go under too much stress doing this pitching. But you want to keep your pitch counts down low, especially if you're the ace for your team and you might have to play a second game.
Absolutely. It's not quite the motion you have to do as a pitcher in baseball, with a lot more elbow action with the baseball throw than there is softball. Your rotator cuff is made to go that way, and that nice rolling motion. As you can tell, Suisui obviously has no trouble as she pitches a lot of games and a lot of pitches per game.
Well, Peterson's figuring out right now. She has 2 strikes. Throws up high, right where she wanted it for ball 1. Never want to throw an 0-2 count right down the middle. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. 5-2 ball game. Wildcats on top. Laura Begay awaits and takes inside, maybe a little high for ball 2. Count is even now. Number 17, Bailey Bowers, the designated player, waits in the on-deck circle. That one's up high for ball 3, so the count quickly goes from 0-2 to 3-2. Payoff pitch coming. Good patience there by the batter, Begay.
Well, Begay showing some excellent patience. With 2 strikes on you, you got to swing anything close. And those last 2 are about as close as you can get without not calling a strike. And then she swings through him for the strikeout. Throw down to Des. And there are 2 away as Hannah battles back as she almost loses that count there. Lori Begay doing an excellent piece of hitting as she's very patient and then just can't quite catch up to that one. For the 2nd out of the inning, now stepping up, we have number 17, Bailey Bowers.
Here's the pitch, ground ball, first base side, just foul as Woolston-Hugh gets her glove on it, throws it back to Peterson. Once again, Peterson throwing a first pitch strike, ahead in the count. Bowers patiently waiting. Center fielder comes in a little bit, and that's going to be up high for ball 1. The defense of the Wildcats patiently waiting. Ready position. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike 2.
1-2 count now for Bailey. She stands in, trying to get something started here for the Broncos with 2 down. Third pitch popped up to the right side. That one's going to drift foul out of play. She stays alive with the 1-2 count. Wildcats defense on their toes, putting chase to it as they watch it go over the fence. They retreat back to their spots and reload for another pitch. Hannah spins the ball on her hip, gets the pitch she wants, throws it in there just a bit inside, low, ball 2. 2-2 count now to Bailey Bowers, the 8 hitter for the Broncos.
Hayden, every time Hannah steps on the mound, your father seems to disappear out there. I don't know if he can handle watching it or not.
I'm not sure where he went. He's probably back here under the shade sitting. You'll probably see him. Oh, we found him right here in between the bleachers.
Oh, there we go.
Clapping now. He retreats to his cooler. Got to get some water, maybe an orange.
As Hannah strikes out the number 8 batter, Bailey Bowers. 1-2-3 inning for the Wildcats. This TV timeout is brought to you by Chevron on Mirror Lake Highway, right on Main Street in Summit County. Some of the best donuts in the entire state. If you're going up camping or fishing or taking a trip and you're not from South Summit, you've got to stop there and get some breakfast. We appreciate their donations and their contributions to the school district. Make sure you check them out, Chevron in South Summit. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back as we start the top of the 3rd inning. Taylor Reedhead, the second baseman, steps in to face Tatiana Suisui, who has allowed 5 runs so far to start this game. Here's the pitch, swung on and missed. Strike 2. Reedhead almost falling over on that swing as she took a big cut.
Oh, 1 count now to Reedhead. Second pitch in there, swung on, fouled off out to the right side over the first base dugout to Suisui. Jumps ahead early, 0-2 count here.
All the foul balls we've seen so far, except for the hitter of McKay Wilson, who have been late. Here's the pitch.
Up and in for a ball. Suisui has been working that inside corner as Hannah has as well. Both pitchers liking that spot. And both pitchers have a pitch that dived to that spot, so it's really convenient when the umpire is giving that inside call.
Call, strike 3 outside corner as Blue punches her out, and that'll bring up Rachel Rydaltz, the left fielder for South Summit.
Suisui is now retired. Taylor Reedhead looking on strikes both times she's stepped up to bat with that pitch that just eludes you. Starts in the middle, starts diving away, and catches that front edge just enough to be called a strike by the Blue. 1 down for the Broncos.
Reedhead really struggling against Suisui. Both games. Here's the pitch. Up high ball.
Taylor Reedhead hit Rachel Rydaltz, hit a single her first at bat, and then was called out on the base path, leaving early.
Second pitch. Called inside corner, strike 1. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Top of the 3rd inning, championship day. Wildcats on top, 5-2. They need 2 wins compared to San Juan's 1. Here's the pitch from Suisui. Swung on, foul ball, strike 2.
Looking at the best of 3 series here as the San Juan Broncos have a 1-0 lead. Wildcats will need to win 2 straight to be crowned champions. The only way to play another game is if the Wildcats can win this first one, forcing San Juan to another. As Rachel Rydaltz pokes one into the gap, it might be enough for a double. She stops at 1. The left fielder very quickly to get over there and bring the ball into the dirt. As Rachel Rydaltz reaches with another single right to about the same spot, I think. I can't remember where Rachel hit it the first time.
I think you're right.
But I think it went to that same gap right over the shortstop's head. Now up Tyler James.
Very positive sign for Rydaltz to be hitting for the Wildcats. She struggled through this whole tournament. If her bat turns on right here in this day, That'll be good thing for the Wildcats.
Tyler James grounded out her first time to the third baseman. She also, a late call strike there from the umpire. Mr. Bowen questions it, but gives her the sign. It's only one strike because you need 3 strikes to be out in this ball game, so nothing hurt yet. Tyler James steps back in there. Sui picking up her pitch. 0-1. Tyler James puts a drive into it. That's deep to left field. Ben's moving out of the way. It's out of here as it clears the left field bleachers for a home run from Tyler James. She must not like that strike call either, the first pitch, and takes it out on that ball as it is crushed over the left field fence for a 2-run shot to Tyler James.
Great piece of hitting there by the catcher of the Wildcats. That's her second home run of the tournament. She has now 2 RBIs in this game. Sui has now allowed 2 home runs this game, I believe. No,
just one.
Just one. But some powerful hitting. 2 more on the board for the Wildcats. 7-2. That'll bring up Desmond Wolstenhume, the first baseman, who's been on fire with her bat since she's come in the second game of the tournament.
Ball in the dirt. Catcher makes a great block and tosses it back out there. 1-0 to Desmond Wolstenhume. As Jeremy said, she has been on fire with that bat in this tournament. Swung on, it's a little knuckler right to the third baseman, just floats up in the air as it was all hands, no barrel on that bat as Des is retired. And that is 2 outs now, leading us up to Sydney Madreen, who last time hit a single right between pitcher and shortstop in the second inning, and she also came around to score a run on the hit by Hannah, I believe, that went off the fence. And we thought it was a home run that wasn't quite over.
You are correct.
First pitch in there, inside, called ball to Sydney Madreen.
So Wildcat offense, somehow it's just figured out. Sui, which they couldn't do the first game. There's a foul ball right back towards us, just a strike.
Lots of brave fans until that ball gets close, and then they all move those hands and dodge.
That's right, didn't they?
Not sure I can blame them for that, as they don't have their mitts. They didn't come prepared. This is not the Bees game. We are not chasing foul balls. You have to give these ones back, so it's not really worth catching them.
Well, 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs to the center fielder, Madreen, waiting in the box patiently for a pitch. Singled her first time up. Here it comes. Swung on and missed. Strike 2. Pitch by Sui as Madreen was about a foot away from hitting that ball.
If we had to provide softballs for every foul ball that went out of here, we probably wouldn't have enough money to put this show on, as there's about 3 or 4 foul balls every inning. Just missed the outside corner. 2-2 count to Sydney Madreen. And we got 2 down. Sydney takes it inside, just a little high for the Blues' liking. Called ball. Nobody on the bases here. Sydney Madreen trying to start a rally for the Wildcats with 2 outs. Great spot to start one, as the top of the order for the Wildcats is coming up next. And they have been producing all tournament long. Sui wanting to avoid that and deal with them the next inning if she can. Facing the 9-hitter here, Sydney Madreen. Sydney drives one over the right field. Foul ball. Full count. Sui gives her her best stuff, and Sydney fights it off, waiting for another chance. As the umpire searches for more softballs, as we have fouled off 3 or 4 this inning. The fans doing a great job helping us out and getting those balls back as quick as possible. And we are waiting for the umpire. He can't seem to get that ball retriever to work like he wants it to. The balls will not come down to him. Icing both Sydney, the batter, and Tatiana Sui, both looking on, asking him if he needs some help. He does not, as Sui is now ready to throw the pitch. The umpire has returned. Sydney steps in. Sui takes the mound. And we are here with the payoff pitch. 2 down, full count. Sydney Madreen, the batter. Sui, still your pitcher. Ball in the dirt as Sydney Madreen draws a walk after the long wait. And the Wildcats have a runner on with 2 out And Natalie Nichols stepping up to bat. Coach Bowen gives the orders to the runner and the batter. Sui takes her pitch from the catcher, and she fires it in there. First pitch outside corner. No throw to second as Sydney Vadrine takes second standing up. Not sure anyone expected that runner to be going on that pitch, as she takes it with no one covering the bag, as the catcher holds on to it just long enough to not throw it into center field. Strike one to Natalie Nichols. Natalie tried to lay one down, just foul, lays it straight back. 0-2 now to Natalie Nichols, as she has been in the hole both at bats.
She lined out to left her last time up, I believe.
That is correct. Thought she had it, but San Juan, the Broncos outfield is actually really quick, and they get to just about anything in the air. If it's not a hard shot, they're probably going to get there. Natalie puts a swing on it, straight up in the air. It's going to be way in. Center fielder coming in, and she retires the inning. 3 down. Natalie pops out to the center fielder this time. And the Wildcats manage to put 2 more across on a home run from Tyler James, giving them a 7-2 lead, with the heart of the lineup for the Broncos coming up after the 9-hole hitters. And so we'll go 9-1-2 in the next inning for the Broncos. We'll be right back here shortly.
And just as you said, that Bronco outfield able to get anywhere. The center fielder, for those of you who did not see it, was 5 yards behind the second base bag. She came crashing in the middle between the grass and the dirt to make that out. Great hustle there by the Broncos outfield. This TV timeout is brought to you by IHC in Park City. Great hospital, great services, great place to go if you need some emergency help. I know that because I've been there myself for my son too many times, but we keep going back because they deliver excellent service there. Plus, if you're waiting in the waiting room, they offer you drinks too, which is pretty nice. Anyway, we'll be back in a moment. Thanks, IHC, for all your support to South Summit community. Kenani Benelli, the right fielder for the Broncos, steps into the box. Hannah Jo Peterson on the middle of the circle with a 7-2 lead. Throws strike one as Benelli swings and misses. Top of the lineup due up next for the Broncos. The Wildcats look very comfortable out there with a nice 5-run lead. That's a pretty big lead against a team like San Juan. San Juan was in the championship game last year, lost to Manti, and I believe San Juan won the championship game the year before. So, very familiar spot for them. Lady Cats have 8 seniors on the team. Big reason why they're here. They've been playing together since they were little girls. There's a base hit right up the middle. One bounce to Vadrine, the center fielder, and the number 9 batter gets on board. That's a big deal for the Broncos as the number 1 hitter, Charlotte Yanito, comes up next. Charlotte Yanito with the last out of the inning, of the last half of the inning, as she came crashing into the infield to catch the pop-up, hit by Natalie Nichols. As I was saying, 8 seniors for the Wildcats, been playing together since they were little girls. Big reason why this team has clicked so well and played together, and is why they are where they are right now.
Charlotte Yanito choked way up on the bat. She's trying to lay one down, move her runner over into scoring position here. She fouls off the first pitch. Strike one. Looking to play a little bit of small ball here, realizing they don't need to chase all 5 runs in this first inning, or this 1 inning, because they still have plenty of innings to work, plenty of outs to work with. Looking to set it down, stands up, swings away. Foul ball right into Tyler James's hand.
Broncos would like another base runner or 2 because they know if they get another 1 or 2 on, they will have Sui coming up, who all she does is hit home runs. There's a ground ball to Wolstenhume, fields it cleanly, fires to first base, pulls the first baseman off the bag. Both runners safe, As the throw just a little high, Wilson had to jump up, leap for it, pull their foot off the bag. So Yanito is in there with an errant throw, standing on first. The number 9 batter, Benelli, standing on second, bringing up Jade Palmer, the shortstop.
Looked like a little bit of hesitation there from McKay, whether she was going to try to go to second or first. Couldn't make the decision. Decided a little bit late and threw it to first.
Infield shifting as Palmer squared to bunt. Natalie Nichols at shortstop, hustles over to third as Wilson comes crashing in. Peterson spins it on her hip with 1 strike, throws the pitch. Going to be a pop-up, caught by Peterson, and that'll be the first out of the inning. Now the Wildcats in a tough predicament here with 2 runners aboard. They don't want to load the bases, but that might be the better option as they face Tatiana Suisui, who's done nothing but hit home runs off the Wildcats.
Swing of the base, she'll either empty them or 4 pitches and they'll load them.
There it is. The intentional walk sign is given to load the bases. Probably a smart play if you ask me. We'll see how it turns out when this inning is over.
Hannah says, I never practiced this, so I'll probably throw a wild pitch, but as long as I cover home so they don't get there, I don't mind.
That's not going to matter, is it?
When I was talking to her yesterday about the intentional walk, she says, I don't know how to throw that pitch. And I said, neither do I.
She's doing just fine there. My son's Little League, all they got to do is say take first base, and they don't even have to throw the pitches.
That'd be a lot nicer as they get it done. As Suisui draws the intentional walk, which I can't blame anyone for wanting to not pitch to her, even if it does load the bases. You got to force everyone out with Jessica Swenson up to bat, the coach's daughter, I believe.
Also the number 4 hitter, so not too often do you see someone get an intentional walk to face the number 4 hitter, cleanup batter for a team. Swenson in the box, patiently waiting. Bases loaded. First pitch pop up for strike 1 as Peterson quickly gets ahead of the count. Swenson has Benelli at third. Yanito. Did Yanito make it on?
She is.
Yes, Yanito at second, and Suisui on first. Here's the pitch. Call.
Strike on the inside corner.
Inside corner, strike 2. So now Peterson has a couple pitches to work with. Spins on her hip.
With as much room as the Blues been given on the inside corner, I don't see why you don't go back there.
And she does, and it's a ground ball foul. Wilson moving over to get it, but the third base coach for the Broncos picks it up, throws it over to Peterson. Still an 0-2 count, 1 out, bases loaded. 7-2 ball game, bottom of the 3rd inning.
0-2 count here. Swenson asks for time, receives it. As Hannah was going to give her time no matter what, she was stepping off herself to rethink here as the bases are loaded. Probably a little bit of pressure thinking you're carrying your team right here now. And right corner for the strikeout.
Got her looking, and what a beautiful pitch by Peterson under pressure at being asked to do an intentional walk, which she might have never done before. Bases loaded. Gets the batter, number 4 hitter, Swenson looking, bringing up number 21, Leilani Begay, the first baseman for the Broncos.
Leilani hit one out to Sydney Madrine in center field her first time up. And now with the bases loaded, she steps in looking to put some runs on the board for the Broncos.
All it takes is 1 swing inside for a ball. 1 swing could make this a 1-run ball game. Broncos threatening. Called inside corner, strike 1. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs.
From where that ball's crossing in here, it would be extremely tough to put the barrel of that bat on that pitch.
I agree. Keep to the inside if you're the Wildcats. Ground ball to Nichols, who throws over to second. Reed had covering the bag to get the force out. The run does not count as it was a force play. The Wildcats get out of that jam as Peterson does a beautiful job pitching around Suisui. It is still a 7-2 ball game. This TV timeout is brought to you by All West Communications and Wildcat TV. We appreciate all that All West does for us, allowing us to broadcast on their TV station and the huge donations they make for this TV program to work in Summit County. The school district really appreciates everything you do. We'll be back in a moment.
And we're back here. 4th inning, top half. Wildcats up to bat. And I just turned my book over to San Juan side. I was already there. And we're up. Hannah Peterson in bat. First pitch, called strike, outside corner. Blue has been very consistent with these calls, giving both sides plenty of corners.
Great job of officiating so far today. So far this whole tournament, the officials have been absolutely wonderful.
Hannah Peterson drives one to center field. It's going. Look out, cameraman. It's right over your head. That's a home run to Hannah Peterson as we just about lost one of the outfield cameras.
I think that's a Channel 10 camera. I think we're all right. Great job. Great piece of hitting there by the pitcher, by the tremendous athlete of Hannah Jo Peterson. As I alluded to before, Hannah Jo Peterson and Tatiana Suisui, two of the best athletes in 2A softball. Love to see them going back and forth right here. That'll bring up McKay Wilson-Hume with no outs, the number 3 hitter, third baseman for the Wildcats. Suisui receives her signs, delivers from the circle.
McKay fouls one straight back as she was trying to jump all over her first pitch from Tatiana Suisui as well. Strike 1. Suisui doing just what you have to do after giving up a home run. Get back on top of the next batter and keep working downhill. Suisui second pitch. Down low, bounces, inside corner, ball 1. 1-1 to McKay Wilson-Hume now. McKay drew a walk her second at bat today, and her first inning hit a single through the middle. Ball 2 up in the air. 2-1 count now to McKay Wilson-Hume. Suisui walks to the back of the circle, regroups, gets her sign from the coach, and steps on up to the mound. Swung on and fouled straight back over into field 3 or 4. I guess we're on 3. Over to the flex. The umpire has to go back for a few more balls from the ball retriever, which staying stalked from our fans, retrieving all those foul balls so quickly for us. As we got a 2-2 count now to Miss Wilson-Hume.
You can hear the Wildcat bench cheering on their teammate. They cheer the entire game. Great sportsmanship, great team effort here as Wilson-Hume gets called looking. Very rare do you see that happen to her. Beautiful pitch by Suisui for strike 3. That'll bring up the number 4 hitter, Elise Bush, who is being coached on from Cody Bowen, saying, quick hands now, quick hands. That's what you have to have with a pitcher that throws as fast as Suisui.
Very impressive from Suisui there to get McKay looking as Elise Bush drives on the right field. That's going to be enough as the fans are dodging that one as well. That's another home run for the Wildcats as the fans are ecstatic out there chasing those balls just as quick. And the Lady Cats will come around home to meet Elise. And the home run party has started for the Lady Cats once again here in the state tournament, giving them a 9-2 lead, or 8-2 lead. No, that would be 9. 9-2 lead here in the top half of the 4th inning.
Elise Bush continuing to impress as the pinch hitter for the Wildcats. Her 4th home run of the tournament. Wonderful hitting by her. Here comes Taylor Reedhead, who has yet to get a hit off Suisui and would love to start that right now. Calls timeouts. Looks like we had a ball come in from the outfield. Is that what happened? Anyway, back to Reedhead. Steps into the box. Suisui gets her sign from Royer, the catcher.
Coach Bowen told Elise on that last play, quick hands, as we could hear it from the on-field mic. And the first pitch, she jumps all over with those quick hands and drives one over that fence as Suisui works ahead here on Reedhead as well with the first pitch strike.
Great discipline by the Wildcat batters as they are hitting the pitches where they're supposed to be. An outside pitch should go opposite field, and so far they've been going opposite field a lot. Here comes the pitch. Whoa! Up high for a ball. Sure you could hear that one through our microphone as that hit off the biggest pole out there in the backstop. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. 9-2. Wildcats on top of the Broncos. Game 1 of what could be a doubleheader championship. Here comes the pitch. Another ball up high.
Taylor Reedhead stays patient in there, waiting for a pitch that she can drive. Suisui trying to work around the outside corners, not wanting to give up anything close, as the Wildcats have been doing a tremendous job hitting that ball in this inning. Swung on and missed. Strike 2, Taylor Reedhead. Looks like she may have touched it, but the catcher squeezes it no problem. We've got 2 strikes, 2 balls, 1 out in the top half of the 4th inning. Foul ball tipped, caught by the catcher. She is out.
Another strikeout recorded for Suey Suey. I think that's Reedhead's 3rd time striking out today. That'll bring up Rachel Rydalch, the left fielder for the Wildcats.
Suey Suey doing a lot of damage with her strikeout ball through the 3, 4, and 5 batters. And she's gotten 5 strikeouts.
Wow.
From McKay, Elise, and Taylor Reedhead.
Rydalch has reached on base, I think, both times she's been up.
That is correct. Takes ball 1 low in the dirt. She hit a single both times over the shortstop's head into that gap. First pitch in there was called for a ball. Rachel Rydalch swung on outside corner, missed. Strike 1 from Suey Suey.
Here's the pitch. Swung on, ground ball to the shortstop again, this time not over her head, but the ball is bobbled in the first baseman's hand, just from her glove to her bare hand, right as Rachel Rydalch touches the bag and is called safe. Reaches on base for a 3rd time in a row. Rydalch doing a great job of getting out of her slump, bringing up Taylor James, the catcher for the Wildcats.
She did everything she could there at first, just couldn't quite hold on to it as she tried to stand up from the stretch.
Timeout as Suey Suey ties her shoelaces here. Coach Bowen asked to talk to his runners as well as the Broncos call timeout. Blue giving him instruction, you got to do it on your side as they come running over to talk to him. Broncos talking it over.
I believe they're going to check the call to see if she maintained control of that throw over to first.
I mean, it did look like it was tough. On those close calls, you just got to go with your gut. Some go your way, some don't. If you don't go with your gut, then you're not doing your job. So I think you're doing a tremendous job, either way, calling her safe or out. To me, it's the right call.
From where I was sitting, it was being bobbled. I never saw it hit the ground, but I have 2 white posts from the windows right in front of me. And we will await the official call as they stay with safe. I'm guessing. No indication has been made to switch sides of the inning. They will remain safe, and we will now see Tyler James, who hit a home run her last at bat, and a grounder to the 3rd baseman her first at bat.
Not only did she hit a home run, she hit a rocket line drive, dead left.
Absolutely crushed. It cleared the bleachers out there, which are another 25 feet back there probably. As she probably hit that one about 225 feet. Rachel Rydalch steals the bag. The throw down to shortstop is there, just not in time. Tyler James takes the first pitch. I did not see whether it was called a strike or a ball.
I think that was a strike.
Okay. 0-1. Every time that runner takes off, I forget to watch the umpire and see what he calls. Get all caught up in the excitement. Tyler James check swings one, foul ball over the first baseline. And she has dug herself a hole, 0-2 count. Suey Suey looking to get that 3rd out of the inning and get out of here. As she gave up a leadoff home run to Hannah Peterson. Struck McKay out looking on the 2nd batter. The home run to the Elise Bush, their 3rd batter. Strikes out to Taylor Reedhead at the 4th. And she gets another strikeout to end the inning. 3 strikeouts that inning by Suey Suey as she has got herself locked into a groove there with that strikeout pitch in the last few batters.
This TV timeout is brought to you by Discovery Properties, Sam Oplenop in Summit County. We'll be back in a moment. Wildcats on top of the Broncos, 9-2. Welcome back as we see the throwdown from James to second base, right on the money to Natalie Nichols. Wildcats out there huddling at second base, talking it over. Up for the Broncos is number 14, Mary Royer, the catcher. It is a 9-2 ball game, bottom of the fourth inning. Great game so far being played. Tatiana Suisui allowing a lot more runs than she did the first time she faced the Wildcats. Beautiful day here in Spanish Fork, Utah. The Wildcats doing all they can to push this to Game 3 of this best out of 3 series as they are down 1-0. There's going to be a substitution.
45.
22 coming in for 45.
Huh?
That would be Lori Begay, the third baseman, I believe, is going to have a substitution. Number 22 for the Broncos.
Is batting now, or will be batting
next.
Okay.
Here comes the pitch. Called strike one.
Number 22, you said. Is that correct?
Yes.
And that is Kia Black that will be entering. Second pitch in there for a ball. There will be 1-1 count here.
So Black
Mary Royer.
on deck circle. Peterson in the middle of the circle delivers a pitch in the dirt for a ball. 2 balls, 1 strike. Top of the bottom of the fourth, 9-2 ball game. Wildcats on top. Here's the pitch. Ball
Just misses
3.
that inside corner. Is it 3-1 now? As Hannah Peterson looks to continue the Wildcats defense. Here we are.
Here's the pitch. Swung on in fair territory. Nichols calling off. Wilston Hume gets under the ball, makes the play for the first out of the inning. That'll bring up number 22, Kia Black, hitting for number 45, Lori Begay, the third baseman.
Your left-handed substitute probably looking to just to make the Wildcats make a play here. Try to put something on the ground and beat it out.
Here's the pitch. Called outside corner. Strike one.
Second pitch on its way. Swung on and missed outside corner. Strike 2 to Kia Black. Digs herself quickly into a hole. 0-2. Ball hit on the ground. McKay Wilson charges, fields it, throws it over there to Desmond. And Kia Black is retired as the Wildcats retire too quickly at the 5-3 infield out. 2 down now. Coming to the plate, number 17, the designated player, Bailey Bowers. In there for one reason, Jeremy, one reason only. That is to hit this ball.
Well, let's see if she can do her job right here. Peterson delivers.
Inside corner, ball 1.
Well, as we move to the 5th inning coming up soon, got to start to wonder what the coaches are thinking about their starting pitchers who they'd both like to pitch in the next game. Is it time to put in the subs and give their pitchers a little rest? Try and play for a win? Play for the next game? I don't know. I'm glad I'm sitting up here watching. Don't have to make that decision as Peterson throws strike 2. Batter running out of the box, not realizing it's only strike 2. Anyway, no balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Bottom of the fourth, 9-2 ball game. Wildcats on top of the Broncos. Number 17, Bailey Bowers, trying to do her job as the designated hitter. Fouls one off. Good cut.
As we mentioned earlier, Suisui has herself 6 strikeouts on the day. As Hannah Peterson just records her 5th of the day for the Lady Cats as they will face next inning Kanani Benali for San Juan Broncos, who are leading them off. And we are heading to the 5th inning after this.
This TV timeout's brought to you by Dr. Emmett Pitt of Gateway Dentistry in Summit County. We'll be back in a moment.
This timeout is brought to you by Dr. Ammon Pitt at Gateway Dentistry in Camas, Utah. Dr. Pitt has a very simple business philosophy. Be honest, inform each patient so they know their options, keep each patient as comfortable as possible, and provide high quality work. I've heard nothing but good things about Dr. Pitt. Make sure you come see him for your dentistry needs.
Welcome back to Spanish Fork 2A Softball Championships. Wildcats on top of the Broncos, 9-2. Tatiana Suisui still pitching for the Broncos. She is their ace. They're sticking with her as we go into the top of the 5th inning. Up first for the Lady Cats, I think will be Desmond Wolstenhume, the first baseman, who's had a pretty hot bat so far this tournament. Looks like Blue is getting a couple substitutions. Maybe we'll get those soon. It is Wolstenhume stepping into the box. Suisui gets the go sign from Blue. Delivers the pitch. Up high for a ball. 1-0. Wildcats need a couple runs here to try and 10-run, and that's a good way to start it as she hits a blooper up to the middle. It's going to be a single for Wolstenhume, who continues to put the ball where she needs to put it. That would be wherever the defenders are not, and getting on base. And that'll bring up Sydney Vadrine, the center fielder for the Wildcats. We're going to have a pinch runner. Looks like Stephanie Nagel is going to run for the catcher, Wolstenhume, as a speed-up runner. Sorry, not catcher. I don't know what that has to be what the substitutions that were going on. I wonder if there's going to be a substitution in catching, as the only way to give her a speed-up runner would be if Wolstenhume was the catcher.
No, that's just a sub straight across right there.
That was?
So Steph will, I'm sure Desmond will just re-enter in the next game, or next inning.
Okay.
Just putting a little bit more wheels on the base path here. Bowen trying to push her across 2 more runs. If they can hold 3 outs the next inning, that'll be the game.
Do all you can to save the energy of your team. Anyway, Wildcat fans are very excited over on their side. San Juan fans are trying to get their team back in the game. Blue gives the sign to go. Vadrine in the box, waiting to help out her team. Here's the pitch, up high for a ball.
So Desmond with, once again, another single. Just cannot seem to get that girl out. Steph Nagel in to run for her, and Sydney Vadrine in the batter's box with ball 1. Inside corner, ball 2. You notice all 3 sit there waiting for the call. Sydney, the catcher, and the umpire. And they all continue just to sit there and look at that one.
I was waiting myself.
Looks about right where we like them
That's right.
for this game. That gives her that one.
Strike 1. 2 balls, 1 strike. Runner up first. The pinch runner, Stephanie Nagel, senior, running for the junior, Desmond Wolstenhume. Here's the pitch. Swung on, foul ball, strike 2. Evens up the count.
Sydney Vadrine has reached the base safely both times this game, hitting a single in the first inning, right over shortstop's head into the center field gap, and the second time she drew a walk. Now she has herself in a 2-2 count here, with Nagel on first. Swung on and missed. It's a strike. She needs to run it out, as Nagel is at second safely, and Sydney Vadrine is thrown out on the strikeout for the first out for the Broncos.
Just as good as a bunt if you're the Wildcats. That'll bring up the top of the order for the Cats. Number 9, the speedy shortstop Natalie Nichols. Runner in scoring position. The infield moves in a little bit. They know what Nichols is capable of. Put the ball in play and run out the throw. Center fielder way in as well. Here's the pitch. Oh, it's behind the back of Nichols. Haven't seen Suisui lose a pitch like that at all. That one was way off.
She hasn't lost one that close. She did roll one right into the dirt as it slipped out of her hand earlier, and it bounced right towards the first base
Forgot
dugout.
about that. But anyway, moves the runner to third. Nichols awaits the pitch. Up high for ball 2. Nichols not squaring. You wonder if Cody Bowen has her swinging. She can do it all from there in the box. That's why she's the leadoff hitter. Sui gets the sign. Delivers.
Swung on and hit to center. Might be deep enough to score as they send her. Nagel, the throw's on its way. It's cut off. It's not going to be in time, and she slides in safely to score another run as Natalie Nichols with the sacrifice fly out to center field. 2 down for the Broncos now as Hannah Peterson steps up to the plate.
Probably why Coach Bowen had the swing sign on. He knows she's capable in the outfield. She does her job, gets the RBI. Peterson with a solo home run. I know she had a home run. Was it a
She's
solo?
got a 2-run shot, I believe, in the home run. No, the home run was a leadoff, so it was just for 1.
That's right.
She has an RBI double, her 2 RBI double, and a single. Chasing a triple for the cycle. Dodges the first pitch inside corner, ball 1.
Tough to hit a triple on these small ballparks.
Especially with your outfielders playing as deep as they are. Your only chance might be a shot directly down the first base line. And then you got to turn on your wheels, which Hannah Peterson can do. Outside corner, strike 1. 1-1 now to Hannah.
She's not going to pull that outside pitch down the first base line, that's for sure. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs, 10-2 ball game. Peterson takes inside for ball 2. Wildcats on top of the Broncos, top of the 5th inning.
Sui probably not wanting to give Hannah anything good either, but not really wanting to face McKay or Elise behind her as well in the lineup. Ball outside as she is 3-1 now to Hannah.
Wildcats would love one more runner with those next 2 dangerous hitters coming up.
Sui takes a sign and wings the pitch in there. Hannah drives one to the shortstop. Shortstop fields it clean. He comes up throwing into the dirt. First base digs it, and she is called out at first as the Broncos give up 1 run in the top half of the 5th inning. And we'll be back with the bottom half in here just 1 minute.
This TV timeout is brought to you by IHC in Park City. Thanks for all you do for South Summit School District. We'll be back in a moment. Here we are to start the bottom of the 5th inning. Up for the Broncos, the number 9 batter, Kainani Benali.
She hit a single last time.
Was standing on third base with 1 out, unable to score as the Wildcat defense did their job. Sees a couple of my employees sitting down there on the field. I'm wondering if they took personal days or called in sick. I'll have to ask them as I get back on Tuesday. Headed Joe Peterson, delivers the pitch. Called for strike 1. Wildcats comfortably ahead in late part of this game as Peterson goes inside for ball 1.
I'm guessing your employees called in sick due to the fact of a beautiful day in softball down here. Can't blame them.
Here comes the next pitch from Peterson. Swung on and missed, strike 2. Who am I to talk I've been watching sports when I'm supposed to be teaching, huh?
We've been out of school for the last 5 days. I can't even complain.
Anyway, 1 ball, 2 strikes to Benali, who hits a long fly ball deep center field. Cindy Vitrine moves back, gets underneath it, and makes the first out of the inning for the Wildcats. That'll go bring us to the top of the lineup. Charla Yanito, the number 1 hitter, center fielder for the Broncos. Peterson gets her signs, spins the ball, delivers from the strip, outside, ball 1.
Charla struck out her first at bat and then reached on a throwing error from McKay Wilson-Hume in the 3rd inning as she hesitated looking towards second and then decided to go to 1, just not in time. Change up outside corner, ball 2 from Hannah to Charla. 1 down for the Wildcats, and the Broncos desperately looking to get something going here in the bottom half of the 5th inning.
The right time for them to get runners aboard. Here's a ground ball over to Reedhead. Tries to backhand it, unable to get that ball. As that bounced right off her glove. Might have to call that an E4. As the Broncos now have some life with a runner on first. Their number 2 hitter, Jade Palmer, the shortstop, up next, who made the last out of the half of the inning, with Tatiana Suisui waiting on deck. Ball 1, a little high.
Wildcats could really use a double play ball here to try to get up to Tatiana Suisui with no one aboard, so they can just walk her to her place at first and not even give her a chance to swing that bat, as she has been really effective, hitting 3 for 3, all home runs against the Wildcats in the 2 games they played.
Peterson delivers, 1-1 count, pop up right back towards me. That's going to be strike 2.
One-two count now. Hannah Peterson digs in, spins the ball on her hip, fires it in there, inside corner, call the ball, 2-2.
That was close, good pitch. Stephanie Nagel, the right fielder, checked into the game for Jade Snyder, stays in the game. Here's the pitch.
Ooh, just got the very tip of the ball with the tip of that bat to stay alive there at the 2-2 count. Runner was in full motion and she was looking to take second.
Sorry, Stephanie Nagel came in for Desmond Wolstenhume, who was playing first. Jade Snyder was in right. She slides over to first base as Des Wolstenhume is now on the bench. And Stephanie Nagel, the senior, standing out in right field. Here's the pitch, swung on ground ball right to McKay Wolstenhume. Tries to double up the batter, and she does as she fires over to Snyder, just as we were talking about her. Jumps up off the bag, quickly gets her foot back down for the double play. Wildcats coming up next. Beautiful defense. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back to the start of the 6th inning here. A 10-2 ball game. Beautiful double play just witnessed by the Wildcats as McKay Wolstenhume steps into the plate. Was able to snag the line drive, fire over to first base, and double up Charla Yanito. Anyway, we have Tatiana Suisui in the middle of the circle, steps to the strip. She's down by 8 runs, trying to not allow any more. Here comes the pitch. Swung on, it's a long fly ball going deep to left field, and it's gone! Goodbye out of here as Wolstenhume continues to play some great softball. Goes straight from a double play to a first strike swing solo home run, and the Wildcats now on top 11-2. Timeout from the Broncos. This timeout will be brought to you by Fish Heads, Fly Shop in Heber City, Utah. Make sure you see them for all your fly fishing needs. We'll be back in a moment.
Now brought to you by Fish Heads Fly Shop in Heber City, Utah. A great little fly shop with a great staff. They make you feel like royalty every time you come in. They have all the gear you need and some of the best flies in Utah. They offer top-notch guide trips on the Green River in Wyoming, Strawberry River in the Uintas, as well as my favorite fishery, the Provo River. Provo is one of the best trout rivers in the Rocky Mountains. Make sure you come by and see Fish Heads to get all your gear.
Looks like we have a pitching change as the Wildcats up 11-2 in the top of the 6th inning. I think the Broncos are trying to save Tatiana Suisui's energy a little bit, as they're going to need her if this game continues the way it is to pitch the next game, the rubber match between these two teams. We just witnessed McKay Wolstenhume's, I believe, 4th home run of the tournament. Her bat has been on fire, as all of the Wildcats have been hitting well this game. Pitching for the Broncos, I believe, is number 3, Jessica Swenson, who is the second baseman. Shifting over to second base, I believe, would be the shortstop, Jade Palmer, as Tatiana Suisui's up to shorts.
I believe that is correct.
Good, because I just made all that up.
Now sounds like it's going to work out because
I was correct.
I only see 2 players changing out. Yep.
Well, that'll bring up Elise Bush, who hit a home runner last time up. Takes down in the dirt, ball 1.
Wildcats looking to push across one more run to get that 10-run lead. And then 3 outs will end this first game. We'll give them a 30-minute break or so, I believe, and come back for game 2 if they can hold on.
Second pitch down low in the dirt, ball 2. Tough spot for Swenson to come in here. Down 11-2. She knows her job is to just get the Broncos through this game, trying not to allow any more damage, get them to the next one. Here comes the pitch. Swung on, missed. Strike 1. And as we have alluded to this whole tournament, Hayden, when a, what do we call him? Relief pitcher comes in, it's tough for the batters to adjust, isn't it?
Probably part of the strategy here is the Broncos looking to face the Wildcat hitters maybe one more time through. Maybe try to get their eyes off of what Suisui's been throwing, change them up a little, and come in with Suisui in the second game, the if game, and try to shut down the Wildcat offense. It's been very high-powered all tournament long. As we said, they've been averaging about 14 runs. They're 3 away from that now with no outs and looking to add to their 11 runs. So I would not be surprised to see that change. I thought it would have come earlier, honestly, from San Juan. But they have made the change we were looking for, and we'll see what they do with this now. As ball 3 is in the dirt right off the umpire's chest, so it took a wicked hop. And we've got ourselves a full count to Elise Bush, the cleanup hitter for the Wildcats, who has been doing just that all weekend long. And now here we are, the first day of the week. What a great way to start off your Monday. A little bit of softball. Can't complain too much.
Here's the payoff pitch from Swenson. Bush patiently awaiting. Swung on, foul ball. Good cut there by Elise. Keep her bat alive. Royer hustles back, picks it up, throws to her pitcher. Wildcats would like one more run and to get out 1-2-3, as Hayden said, in this inning, just to save one more inning on Hannah Peterson's arm. Here comes the pitch from Swenson. Swung on, high fly ball, dead center, comes crashing in, makes the play, is Yanito for the first out of the inning. As Swenson does her job, sees one batter, and gets one out.
As we like to say in softball, too high.
That'll bring up Taylor Reedhead, who I'm sure is happy she's not facing Suisui. Would love to get her offense going right here. Here comes the pitch from Swenson.
Sui did have, or has had Taylor's number all day long as 3 strikeouts, 2 looking and 1 swinging. And now Swenson, 0-1 on the count. Working ahead early here as Taylor Reed has seen a full count, a 2-2, and a 1-2 before striking out on all 3 of those. She hits a line drive through the middle. It's going to get to the left fielder. It's going to get to the fence. Excuse me. Taylor Reedhead rounding to third. Shortstop's going to cut it. Second's cut it actually to third. Taylor Reedhead slides in safely to third with a triple.
What great base running by Reedhead as she read the throw as she was coming to second base, saw the throw was coming into second and not going to third, so she just kept on her high horses, made it to third base safely. That'll bring up Rachel Rydalch, the left fielder, with a runner in scoring position with 1 out.
Just what she needed to help herself out of that drought. 3 strikes in a row, and then she comes up with a big triple. Standing on third now, waiting. Rachel Rydalch takes the box and waits for the first pitch from Miss Swenson. It's in the dirt. Blocked well by the catcher there. Keeps it right in front of her and throws it back. Ball 1.
Coach Boeing yelling to his senior left fielder, she's here, you cannot leave her here. Do your job, Rachel. Swenson trying to do all she can to stop that from happening. Gets the sign from the middle of the circle. Delivers.
Takes it right off the elbow.
The batter. Dead ball. Hit off her mask. So now the Wildcats have runners on the corners. Bringing up James, the catcher.
Next batter, number 14, Tyler James.
James with a home run earlier in this game. Royer giving the signs for the first and third situation, letting the defense know what's happening. Rydalch has some speed over there on first base. Here comes the pitch.
Tyler swings on it.
Strike 1.
Advanced runner as Rachel still second. No throw as they keep the runner at third, knowing that is the 10th run and they cannot give that one up. If up to bat in the 7th as well as the 6th. First pitch swung on strike. Probably got the call to swing away no matter what. That's probably why she swung at that high one, just so they could get that runner over there and put her in scoring position. As now Tyler digs in, drives one down the left field line, just foul, about 4 feet foul over the third base line. Would have been enough to score both runs had it stayed fair. It does not, however. 0-2 now, Tyler James.
Tough to adjust to the difference of speeds between these two pitchers. As Sui, one of the fastest pitchers I've seen so far in this tournament.
Who doesn't rely much on her speed as she goes to, more often than not to those pitches that dive away, dive in, dive up. Anything you can do with the ball besides throw it straight down the middle.
Swung on and missed. Strike 3 as James goes down swinging. Good job there by Swenson. 2 outs now. Trying to not allow the Wildcats to get that 10th run that they need. 12th run they need to go up by 10.
And Stephanie Nagel now stepping into the box for the Wildcats.
Her first time.
Subbed in for Dez on her last at bat.
She came in as the pinch runner. She swings and misses for strike 1.
The Wildcats really would like to get that run across, which would mean if they could get 3 outs in the next inning without giving up a run, that would be the game. That is why you see Coach Bowen over there jumping up and down at every swing.
Swing and a miss, strike 2. So Swenson doing a phenomenal job of trying to get these Wildcat batters out. 2 runners in scoring position, up on the count, 0-2, 2 outs, 11-2 ball game, doing everything they can is the Broncos defense to not allow the go-ahead 10th run. Here's the pitch, swung on and missed, strike 3, 1, 2, 3 pitches to Stephanie Nagel, keeping the lead to 9 runs. Wildcats on top. We will have a TV timeout here brought to you by Wasatch Golf Course in Midway, Utah. Make sure you check them out if you like to play golf and you like to look at beautiful scenery. We'll be back in a moment.
This timeout is brought to you by the well-known mountain and lake courses at Wasatch Mountain State Park. They are consistently ranked among the most popular, affordable, and scenic in Utah. Nationally, Golf Digest rated Wasatch Mountain as one of Utah's best places to play, giving the facility 4.5 out of 5 stars. At an elevation of 6,000 feet tucked away in Midway, Utah, golfers enjoy cooler temperatures during summer months. The fall colors in late September to early October are truly a sight to behold. Book your next round of golf at one of Wasatch's iconic courses.
Here we are, the bottom of the 6th inning. In for relief pitching for the Wildcats will be the senior Natalie Nichols, giving Hannah Jo Peterson a rest for 2 innings. Nichols has a comfortable 9-run lead, but she is facing the number 1 batter so far, number 3 batter, number 1 hitter I've seen, Tatiana Sui, and Nichols is going to start off by giving an intentional walk to Sui. First time they played San Juan, Nichols, I believe, started the game against them and ended up coming out with a 4-2 lead, or I believe it was 4-2, maybe 4-3. Anyway, Nichols allowed a 3-run home run to Mary Royer, who she will see up if she's walking Sui. Ends up throwing a strike there, trying to get ball 4.
Accidentally throws a strike on the pitch out. Like I said, if Sui gets a hold of that, she'll just knock it out of here.
That's dangerous right there.
That's the one she's looking for.
As the defense not expecting that either. Anyway, that'll bring up the number 4 hitter, Jessica Swenson, who I believe went down swinging her last time up.
As a batter, it probably has to be pretty frustrating knowing you're probably not going to get a swing in your bat the rest of the day, just for being good at what you do.
At least she's well respected. That pitch is down a little outside for ball 1. Ball gets through the glove of Jade Snyder with the throw down to first base, but luckily Stephanie Nagel, who always hustles in on every pitch in case there's a throw down when there's a runner on first, backs it up, holds the runner Sui to first base.
1 out of every 100, we said that the other day on our broadcast, and there she was that time, right where she needed to be. That one's popped up, and it's in the gap. No one can get to it as it is right in between short, second, and center field for a single, as the Broncos threatening as they got the 2 leadoff batters on base.
Just what the Broncos need. 2 runners aboard, no outs. Coming up next will be Leilani Begay, the first baseman. Broncos would like nothing more to get 1 more base runner to bring up Mary Royer, who has the confidence facing Natalie Nichols. Here's the pitch. That's a line drive, base hit up the middle. That's probably going to score a run as that ball gets fielded by the center fielder, Vadrine. That does score a run. Quickly, the Broncos taking advantage of the pitching substitution as Nichols grabs the ball, heads back to the circle. 2 runners aboard with the catcher, Royer, coming up.
I believe this is exactly the same situation. Runners on second and first when Mary Royer hit her 3-run shot in the first time facing Natalie Nichols. Swung on and fouled straight back. 0-1 the count. Natalie gets ahead of a batter with an intentional walk and 2 singles right down the middle in this inning.
They weren't very hard hit balls, but they were placed perfectly. And all the Broncos need, having an 8-run deficit, is base runners. Here's the next pitch. A little outside for a ball. Hayden, if a pitcher leaves, can they re-enter the game?
Yes, they can.
They can, as long as they stay on the field?
Yep. As long as they stay in the field of play when they leave, so where Natalie switched Hannah at short, she is eligible to come back in, but Natalie throws that excellent changeup she has right over the plate for the second strike to Mary Royer. 1 and 2 here. Natalie looking to get her first out of the inning, which will be a lot of momentum for the Wildcats as they could use anything they can get here as Broncos are threatening again. Pitch outside, 2-2 count now.
Wildcat defense on their toes, ready for anything. Here's the pitch. That's going to be a pass ball. Going to let the runners advance, take away the force play,
and load the count.
Reedhead coming in, talking to her pitcher, giving her a little words of confidence. The payoff pitch coming with 2 runners in scoring position. Nichols delivers. Swung on, long, hard ball, center field. Vadrine backs up, gets under, makes the catch. Will score a run, an RBI sacrifice fly to center field. As that, was that Royer?
That is Royer with
That
the
was Royer with that RBI. That'll bring up, let's see, Lori Begay, the third baseman for the Broncos. Still a runner in scoring position with 1 out. Broncos, 2 more runs. Here comes the pitch from Nichols. Called strike 1.
Lori Begay struck out her first at bat, and then had a pinch hitter in the 4th inning in her spot, Nikia Black, who hit to a third baseman. This one is a shortstop ball. Hannah fields it cleanly, throws it over, and we've got 2 down now for the Wildcats as they keep the runner at second, retiring Lori Begay, bringing us now to Bailey Bowers.
Well, this is the designated hitter for the Broncos, the number 8 batter.
Struck out her first 2 times today.
Let's see what she can do against the great changeup of Natalie Nichols. That's a foul ball. Strike 1.
Just foul.
I'm sure Coach Bowen was thinking that he was going to get towards the bottom of this lineup if he just get a couple outs. Wildcat fans not too happy some runs were allowed. They were pretty greedy. They want it all. Never feels good in your stomach. And there's a ground ball. It's going to go up the middle. That's going to score a run. Nice base hit there by the designated hitter Bowers as she's in there with the single, scoring the run. I believe that was Begay.
That was Leilani.
Coming home. Now it is a 11-5 ball game.
Canali Benelli. We got a runner now entering, number 13. Number 13 will be the new runner for Nijoni Lacey, who will now be subbing in for the runner at first, as she will do the running for Bailey. And San Juan is trying to interrupt my lunch break. I've got a nice sandwich, peanut butter and grape jelly down there waiting for me. Just waiting on it, but San Juan is putting a delay to that, as they're trying to crawl back into this game with a 5-11 deficit, trailing the Wildcats by 6 in the 6th inning. 2 outs in the bottom half. 13 for 17. As the umpire gives us the signs on that sub. And that is the sub I told you. Miss Lacey will be running for Bailey Bowers. And we are now pitching to Canelli Benelli. Outside, ball 1.
If the Wildcats aren't careful, Hayden, they may do a lot more than interrupt your lunch break. The Broncos are still in this game. A great team. All they need is 6 runs to tie it up. Runner on first. Here's the pitch. Ground ball to the shortstop. Peterson fields it clear. It's slow. She's got to fire it over there. She does and gets the out. It is still an 11-5 ball game as we move into the top of the 7th. This TV timeout is brought to you by All West Communications and Wildcat TV. Thanks for allowing us to bring this state championships to the state of Utah through the KSL live feed. And thanks to All West for sponsoring Wildcat TV and all they do for us. We'll be back in a moment. We are back to the top of the 7th inning. It looks like Sydney Vadrine, the number 9 batter for the Wildcats, is stepping into the box.
That is correct. Her last at bat, she struck out swinging, and her first 2 she reached safely with a single and a walk. This will be the first time, however, she is facing Miss Swenson. Swung on and missed, strike 1 to Sydney Vadrine.
Well, the way Swenson's handing the Wildcat batters, you'd be surprised to see her come out the start of the 2nd game if the Wildcats can push it there.
I believe she's only, and that's a pop-up. That one's going to stay in play as Sydney jogs down the line. It is caught and retired by the first baseman. Great play there. The communication of the infielders just enough. And they get one down, and to the top of the order now, Natalie Nichols and Hannah Peterson on deck for the Wildcats.
Good job by Leilani Begay to call off the catcher, Mary Royer.
Always easier coming in than trying to chase it as a catcher. Well done there by the first baseman. Natalie Nichols now waits for her first pitch from Swenson, as she usually likes to watch the first one. Although she bunts it right down third baseline, and it is going to be in time as she cruises safely to first. She is too quick, and that is another infield single.
Well, Natalie would love nothing more than to put a run on for the Wildcats. They could use a little couple insurance runs here. Why not? That'll bring up Hannah Peterson, who was the starting pitcher for the Wildcats, moved over to shortstop. She gets her wrist glove on. I don't know if she had that on because she was pitching.
She took it off when she was out in the field. I'm not sure why, but she's now gone back to it so she can get the signs from Coach Bowen. Probably just going to yell across to Natalie, go ahead and take second if you feel it, as she's been doing all tournament. And there she goes. The throw is on its way. It's going to peg her right in the back. Drills her.
She's holding her back. She's a tough athlete. Gets timeout, stretches it out.
And she's all right.
Hit right in the spine. That one hurt me.
That's why I don't steal bases.
Oh, that's why.
That one sly risk of maybe getting hit has nothing to do with my speed, as obviously my mouth's a lot quicker than my legs are. But I'm not taking that chance of getting hit in the back like that. As Natalie stands up, she is fine. She would have been called out in kickball. In softball, you actually have to catch and tag, so she is safe. And here we are, the second pitch now to Hannah Peterson, 0-1 count. Up high a little bit, 1-1 count now, as Natalie waits on second base to try to get another run on the board for the Wildcats, give her a little bit more insurance as she goes back out there in the bottom half of the seventh inning to try to shut down San Juan and get in to the final and deciding state game. Hannah fouls one straight back right up here to me. Not high enough, and she is down in the count, 1-2 now.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. The last inning, top of the last inning, 7th inning here at the 2A Softball Championships. Wildcats on top of the Broncos, 11-5. Here's the pitch to Peterson, swung on. It's going to be a gapper right between the first and second baseman. Nichols runs home and is safe as Hannah has another RBI on the day. Wildcats, one more insurance run, 12-5, 7-run lead. Still with a lot of life as the number 3 hitter, McKay Wilston-Hume, who's hit a solo shot her last time up, is now stepping into the box.
Hannah with 5 RBIs on the day, helping herself out in the pitcher circle, as you so often want to do if you are pitching. Now McKay sees the first pitch, fouls it right into her face mask.
Laughing it off.
The crowd chuckles in the background.
Was that the crowd laughing?
That was the crowd. Crowd chuckles as she turns. Her face mask had come all the way down over her head. She couldn't see anything. She had to readjust her helmet. And now she digs in there for the second pitch on the way from Swenson.
Peterson standing on first. She takes off. Ground ball right up the middle. It's going to be a double play if she can turn it. And she does. Tatiana Sui with a great defensive play. Heading over to cover for the bag because Peterson was running. The ball goes right into her glove. Steps on second. Fires to first. Double play, Broncos, as we move to the bottom of the 7th inning. Last chance for the Broncos down to their final 3 outs to try and win this 2A softball championship right here and now. Otherwise, they'll push it to Game 3. We'll be back in a moment. The Wildcats huddling around second base as they try to get 3 more outs to push this game to Game 3, as they lost 1 to San Juan on Friday. Then on Saturday were able to beat
Enterprise,
Enterprise to get to this game. Natalie Nichols on the inside the circle in relief for Hannah Peterson. Broncos at the top of their lineup, number 42, Charla Yanito, the center fielder, tries to get the rally started to get the Broncos the win. Dramatic style here in this last inning. First pitch, taken, ball one.
Here are the Broncos. You've got your lineup right where you want to be chasing these runs here. Chasing 7 now. The Wildcats probably wishing they were chasing a few more, but they'll do with what they've got. Second pitch thrown on there. Hannah lays out for just outside the reach of her glove. It's going to be a single for Charlotte Nito to light up the first hit for the Broncos here in the 7th inning. Excellent play there by Peterson. Just didn't quite get enough dub on her as Charlotte hits it one through the gap and is waiting patiently on first with the leadoff single.
Jade Palmer, who is now playing second base, started off as a shortstop, hits a grounder right to Peterson's going to go to second, gets Reedhead to get the lead runner. No chance of turning two there as Palmer standing on first, grounded into a fielder's choice. That'll bring up the ever-dangerous Tatiana Suisui. Home run her first at bat, 2 intentional walks her next 2 at bats.
I don't see him giving her anything close once again.
Neither does James as she holds her arm out there to say, let's walk her.
If I'm Suisui, I'm going to go ahead and lean as close as I can. And if she accidentally leaves one close, I'm going to go ahead and swing on it. I don't think my coach would have any problem with me swinging my bat, as he probably knows I am the best hitter on the team. 2 balls successfully thrown to the outside to Suisui, who came around to score last time after they walked her. It worked the first time as they loaded the bases walking her. The last time they walk her as the leadoff batter, she works all the way around and scored a run for the Broncos to start that rally. 3 balls now. The last one is thrown in there, and everyone advances. Ball 4, intentionally walked Suisui successfully once again, reaching base, as she is going to have an excellent on-base percentage in this game, and probably the next 2. I don't see them changing anything about giving her anything to hit. There's no reason to in the way she's hitting.
So, Jade Palmer, the second baseman, standing on second. Tatiana Suisui, the shortstop, standing on first. Jessica Swenson, the pitcher, takes a ball thrown down third base, and they're going to know! Safe. Oh, call safe. How is that? How did he call her safe? I'm sorry. I saw it out from up here by far. She must have missed the tag or something. Had to have missed the tag. That's the only way. Anyway, runners in scoring position now. That'll rattle the Wildcats a little bit. As a great throw by James, was definitely there on time. Unfortunately, just missed the tag. 2 balls, no strikes, 1 out. Foul ball, strike 1. So Nichols breathing a sigh of relief there on the mound. No, she only needs 2 outs to get her team to the next game. Suisui on second. Palmer on third. Swenson up to bat. Here's the pitch. In the dirt. Good block there by James. Ball 3.
Swenson dodges it. I believe we've got a 3-1 count. It is 3-1. The board is correct. So is our book. We're ready for a 3-1 pitch from Natalie. And that's ball 4.
So now the bases are loaded. Very dangerous situation if you're the Wildcats. You do not want to blow this game open, blow this lead open. You're up 7 runs. Looks like they're going to have a pitching change as they're going to bring Hannah Peterson, I believe, back in to finish this game. This TV timeout will be brought to you by Discovery Properties. Sam Applenop will be back in a moment.
This timeout is brought to you by Sam Applenop of Discovery Properties. Sam is your local real estate expert. Let him help you buy or sell property. Call or text him at 435-901-0720 for all your real estate needs.
Welcome back as the pitching change has been made. Hannah Peterson comes back in as the bases are loaded with 1 out in the bottom of the 7th. Peterson delivers a pitch. It's going to be a fly ball to Reedhead, who double up way, and 1 pitch does it for the Wildcats as they have pushed this to the rubber match game. The what if is a reality. It is an if, as the Wildcats and Broncos will come back for one more to see who is the state champion of 2A softball. What a wonderful game for the Wildcats. Broncos trying to march back in it, unable to do so as Peterson comes in and finishes them out with a 1-pitch double play. We'll be back. Let me see if I can get game time for us.
Second game for the championship.
And that game time will be 2:45. So we got a half an hour break here. We will be sure to bring you this coverage live. Make sure you stay tuned. It's going to be a great game, as it's been so far this whole tournament. Thanks to Hayden Peterson. This is Jeremy Fierro, Wildcat TV. We'll be back in a half an hour.